have been only 2 times in my life that I have ever fainted. The first time seeing Zayn Malik from One Direction in person, and the second time being at my very first Pokemon TCG regional. Hi everybody, if you have no idea who I am. Hi, my name is Poseidon. I am the goddess of the seas, earthquakes, and horses, and I am a TCG-based VTuber with a VTuber talent agency, Mythos. I love playing Pokemon TCG. It is my favorite card game. I also like playing other card games like One Piece, Vanguard, Grand Archive, and all the such. And today, we are going to be reacting to how I found the greatest Pokemon TCG event of all time by Purple Cliff. So I'm going to assume that this video is going to be about some sort of regional, maybe a national championship of some sorts. But yeah, let's see what Purple Cliff has got cooking.
This video was meant to go completely different. I showed up to
What?
a Pokemon regional with 4 of my friends
Wait.
with the goal of making more.
Are we gonna see the famous Baltimore Piss Chair? Probably not, but that would be really funny if it did.
Money than the person who wins the championship by only
Henry
playing
Chow,
side
my
events. We had come up with this idea a year ago while attending a regional. While we were winning all our matches in the tournaments, our friends were playing side events, which are separate tournaments and events that run on the side in every single regional, and they give out prize tickets instead of cash. These prizes
so
are normally
cool.
epic, but
I have never ever played in sides. I've always played in the main tournament because I'm just that goated. But I have some friends that play just for sides. I go to the events just for sides. And I also have some friends that judge sides. And they always tell me that they think it's more worth it than playing in the regional. And to that, I can see that. Imagine paying like $70, right? Because that's how much it costs to enter a regional to go 03 drop. When you can just play like $15, $20 for a spectator pass, maybe another $20, $30 for some tickets to play inside events and win all of these cool prizes. You know, maybe I might do that for my next regional. I don't know.
this time, they had unified Minds packs. We
Holy
did the math,
moly,
and
those are
every
old.
2 events that we did would give us a booster box.
That's
Unfortunately,
crazy.
the events that we attended last year were run by a different organizer, and the current prize walls just haven't been as juicy. They only had 2 packs, Twilight Masquerade and Stellar Crown, and a couple
Stellar
of plushes that they
Crown.
bought from Target. Already off the bat, we were starting to doubt that this idea was even gonna work. But we just flew to a regional, and all of us wanted to play Pokemon.
There is a Fuecoco on the board for 450 points. If anybody buys that, we will know we are saving up for the packs. I know you want the Fuecoco. I know you want the Fuecoco. I know you want the Fuecoco.
I want the
We're not buying the
Fuecoco.
Fuecoco. I want to do a side event that I can open packs.
Ooh.
Does anybody want to join?
Yeah, Steve, you're coming with me.
Okay. So we split up into 2 teams to see how the side events were running.
Ditto for 11. That's what we're both on.
I've done this at internets before. This is like the fastest way to get tickets.
Did we just find
No
out
way,
right at the
we're
beginning?
speed
Phil and
running
Steve were
side
deciding
events?
between a build and battle and a raid.
I'm a freaking pro TCG pocket player. Okay, do we need 4 people for a raid? No, because I equal 3.
While Mia and
When are we gonna get Pokemon TCG Pocket Regionals? Now that is something I'm interested in.
I were waiting.
It's been 20 minutes since we signed up for our first side event, and we have not played a side event yet. We are
Oh no.
43 minutes in. They just got their first event. We're still waiting for ours. Phil and Steve are doing a raid format, which is like Dungeons and Dragons of Pokemon.
We didn't have to
Whoa.
wait too much longer as they finally started calling names.
Corey, Riker, Eli, Axel, Dustin.
Look how excited he looks.
So we went up to ask what was wrong when we realized signing up online wasn't enough.
We were supposed to go up and sign in for our pod. They've run 8 without us. So yeah, we've just been
Oh,
sitting
that's
doing
so
nothing. It's
sad.
been 2 hours.
While we were waiting, Phil and Steve got prize tickets for their raid battle.
We just played a raid battle. Okay, and guess what? Steve did nothing. Steve does nothing constantly.
I'm feeling freaking fantastic. We just bodied that. I don't know if you saw, but I just kicked because we just freaking bodied, okay?
But even then, we had to wait another hour.
It has now been 3 hours.
3
20 prize tickets
hours?
right
In the meantime,
I'm not gonna lie, I would have got enough and left. I would have just been like, nope, I'm done.
they were on to their second raid. If this is your first time hearing about the raid battles, sit down. 4 players bring their Pokemon decks and play at the same time
Is this like Commander, but Pokemon?
on the same team in
That
order to
sounds
bring
like
down
so much
the raid
fun.
boss. A raid boss consists of a jumbo Pokemon card, normally with some crazy annoying moves, a 60-card deck of bullshit to make you lose your Pokemon, lose the cards in your hand, lose all of your items,
That's
and
so
lose all of your
funny!
hair by how stressful these things can be. And a judge who 10 times out of 10 is going to be the nicest person that you've met that weekend, unless
I
you do what
agree.
we did and ask for the
You know what? Shout out to all the Pokemon judges and organizers. I am a judge myself. These people get hated on way too much. So shout out to them.
hardest difficulty.
Go hard on us. Why did I say that?
In which every
Why
single
did
judge
you
at the
say
event
that?
teamed up together like Team Rocket to try and take us down.
Hey,
This is my last song.
Just cycle it back in.
Whoa, whoa,
Whoa, whoa.
9, 10, and 11. So that is...
GG's.
And just as they beat the boss, they finally called my pack opening event.
Yeah!
Surely this is going to be
What
worth the
is
wait.
that?
I pulled nothing and I lost in 42 seconds. Good thing I still get prize tickets for competing.
Most normal Pokemon TCG experience.
I don't even get prize.
Are there prize tickets? No? Okay.
We waited for 3 hours.
Yeah, but we opened up Surging Sparks.
We got in the event.
Oh my
3
god,
hours,
it's my
20 minutes.
goat! It's my goat, Raul!
We lost round 1. No prize ticket. No prize ticket.
Yeah, that sucked pretty bad, so I'm just not going to do that event again. But now all of my friends were bugging me to play the raid battles, saying it was the most fun event.
Oh. We waited for 12 seconds this time. You saw me about to sit down, and I didn't even sit down.
Steve's deck is Ancient Box, which isn't very good for raids. So I gave him my Turtles deck, and I'm going to be playing... Yeah, so this video was filmed back when Giratina wasn't worth $200. I don't like watching this clip either.
Why
Once I sat
are
down,
you
Giratina
riffle
wasn't worth
shuffling?
$200.
Riffle shuffling the gold Giratina, what the fuck?
I don't like watching this clip.
You know, I would actually do the same thing, so maybe I shouldn't be reacting that way.
Either. Once I sat down, I was introduced to our rival of this story, Jacob. And he asked us on a scale of 1 to 5 what difficulty we went. And I kept saying 6, which they didn't have. They only let me go to 5.
Why
Even though I
would
really
you want to
wanted
go to
six. Why did I
6?
say that? He's going to get a different deck. Why?
God damn it!
I'll be right back.
No.
Everybody in this group is just like, come on, man! Why would you say that?
On record, but I can just make 6 on my own.
Listen, if you put Area 0 down, I'm past to peeking it away.
I got a griefer on my team.
We're not playing on a 5, we're playing on a 6 because you're on the team.
All 4 players play at the exact same time, and all together can use up to 4 supporter cards in each turn. There's so many ways you can help your teammates to beat the boss. But here's where it gets crazy. If I play an Iono, a card that makes me shuffle my hand to the bottom of my deck and draw new cards, so does all of the other players on my team. If someone has their attacking Pokemon stuck
That's
on their
so
bench,
silly.
I can boss order that Pokemon forward if you want to shut off everybody's ability. I don't want to say too much more because we invent some crazy plays with these supporters. Then when everybody's ready to do damage, you count up all the damage that you've done together, and then you divide that number by how many teammates you have. That's how many cards get discarded from the raid deck. When the raid
That's
deck
so
runs out
funny.
of cards, you win. However, if you don't kill the raid boss on your first turn, which you won't, they get to draw and play 1 card plus another for every single player. Energies get attached to the Pokemon, and if they have enough energy to attack, they're doing that attack to all 4 players. This can be really tricky if there's effects of the attack, like Glaceon, who says that you can do no damage next turn, or Oinkologne that does more damage based on your bench, or
I need to do this on a stream. I need to get like 4 Pokemon players and do this. This would be so funny.
for that thing.
Well, you guys better use your abilities. You got 5 seconds. All right, path to the peak.
Why would you do that?
I had to shut
They're all so bad.
Sending path to the peak to the lost zone.
Does anybody remember the Nightmares of Path to the Peak? Because I definitely do.
Now this is where I realized that I had chosen the wrong deck. Giratina V is super good in PvP, but round 1, I couldn't do any damage to the boss. Thankfully, my teammates did a collective 750 damage. While that was a lot
Thank
of damage,
God.
the raid deck still has 41 cards in it. And our raid boss, Mewtwo, was about to play a bunch of cards to
Oh,
hers.
no.
Delinquent discarded our stadium.
That's bad! Why is he playing that? Why is he fighting that card is bad.
Forced us to discard 3 cards from our hand. Team Rocket's handiwork milled cards off the top of our deck.
Oh, I got rid of Polar.
But thankfully, he only drew 1 energy, so the Mewtwo couldn't even attack.
That's
Now
so
that we survived
funny.
our first turn against the raid boss, we had a new issue. I still couldn't attack because my Comfey was stuck up in the active. But since we had a Gardevoir player, I was able to bum an Arvin to grab a switch card to put my Cramorant forward, which let us do 980 damage. But that wasn't going to stop Jacob from discarding even more cards from our deck. Good thing that's all he could do, because Mewtwo didn't get energies again! There's a chance we might be able to take down a future raid boss in only 2 turns. Well, if we weren't cheating, but we'll get to that later.
What?
It's the final turn, and I messed up again. I got a Comfey stuck in the active. Even though I did no damage, we dished out 1,170
His team is carrying him so hard.
Wait, that was 3 turns? We need to do it in 2 turns.
And just like that, my first raid of the weekend was complete. And honestly, after being bummed out, waiting for 3 hours just to open up a single pack, and then having like the best time ever doing that raid battle, all I
take those.
wanted to do was play more raid battles. Oh, and we
Sounds
got
like so much
many
fun.
prize tickets from playing.
Why is bro
So we
Mewing
did
is
another
crazy.
raid, but this time Jacob upgraded Mewtwo's deck. to
Oh,
give
no.
us heart, and I switched my
Jacob
deck
wants
to Mew
blood.
VMAX
He
to
wants
hopefully do more
revenge.
damage. And my decision paid off because we destroyed this thing. They may have upgraded the deck to beat us, but it wasn't enough! We were getting 80 prize tickets every raid we beat, and we're having a blast doing so.
But we're not even close to done. That I mean, all those packs.
But time was starting to run out in the day, so we were on to our
Final raid of the day.
We just barely fit this raid in before side events closed. But wait, see that guy? That's the guy who messed with us earlier, and he came with an important message.
Jacob picked that up because you guys came back to this.
Oh, we got the Jacob deck. Okay.
Our
no,
prize
he
for a
wants
difficulty
blood.
6 had not gone unanswered. Jacob had worked with the other judges to make all of our future raids increasingly harder and harder. But this might just be the end of our run because we were fighting this thing.
What is...
Ooh!
1,000 damage.
1,000 damage!
How are we gonna beat that? It does 1,000 damage. We can beat that.
Play this one instead.
No, we gotta beat the 1,000. We can beat that. I think we can beat that.
I think we got.
We have not lost a prize.
Final
card yet.
last
If we
words.
were gonna beat this raid boss to get our
Famous
prize
last
tickets,
words, my bad.
we're gonna have to lock in and take this completely seriously.
Since there's 3 Pokemon, we do triple damage, right?
Let's get started.
After the peak.
You do know it's like competitive. You're trying to be me, right?
This is the only way to get the difficulty from 5 to 6. Can someone get rid of the path to the peak? I need to use abilities.
Yeah, Art's on it.
Okay, thank you.
I'd do it again. Setting up our Pokemon as quickly as possible
His comedic timing is 20 out of 10.
is extremely important in this match.
Every time he attacks, it's 1,000 damage.
Yeah, we're dead. There's not a Pokemon in the history of the card game that can survive that attack.
Purplecliff's actually wrong here. There is one card with 2,000 HP. Dance Neo Imakuni.
Okay,
Just ignore that
no.
he's a trainer and not a Pokemon, or that text pointing to his HP that says liar. And don't even get me started on this guy.
And
No.
the way knockouts work, say the raid boss killed my Mew V. Since it doesn't have any prize cards to take, I take the 2 prize cards, which effectively act as my life pool. Because once I'm out of prize cards, I'm out of the battle. So immediately, we all started playing our decks
What
to
is
prepare
this,
for the
One
inevitable
Piece?
doom that is the raid boss's attack. I got lucky and was able to fill my entire bench with Genesect Vs to draw a ton of cards. All that I needed to attack was to roll a dice and get heads with my Cram-O-Matic. Heads.
Okay, it was gonna be a tails, I thought.
This is my first raid I've hit a heads.
Phil got his Terapagos ready to attack, which is when we realized our biggest misplay of this round. We
Oh,
had given
no.
a harder deck to Steve without telling him how to play it. So we had to
Why
help him out
would
a little
you
bit
do
during
that? Why would you give him a deck he's never played before?
the round.
I do not play the TCG, okay? I know pocket, okay?
So when it came time to attack,
0 damage.
0 damage.
Steve!
What do you mean? What do you mean, Steve?
On our very first turn, we were only able to pull off 440 damage. This is also when I realized I'm a flippin' VMAX.
I give up 3 prize cards.
He most certainly does. So we're gonna hit for 11 cards in this card, but I get my attack off first.
That's our smallest
So-
hit yet.
Yeah, this is not gonna feel good.
Fingers crossed he does not get the energies he needs to attack.
Energy.
Oh
That's
no.
looking good.
One of
Oh
3.
no.
We're gonna go down.
Oh no.
energy.
Oh no.
Excellent job.
And we're gonna go for
Oh,
another
7.
card here.
What's in the middle of the deck?
Yeah, can we?
Absolutely not. Third energy. We got a silent laugh. Each basic Pokemon in play in each player's hand and in each player's discard has no abilities. The final effect that we get is a Professor Kukui.
If 1,000 damage wasn't enough, he boosted it by 20!
1,020 guys. Everything's dying now.
Oh my god.
You guys are dead anyway. But
Giant bomb.
and now I will be doing Be Legendary.
I have a minus 30 fighting resistance.
The race was on to kill the raid boss before we ran out of life.
And then I take 3 prize cards? They were good 3 prize cards.
I was down to only 3 prize cards left, but thankfully Gardevoir and Roaring Moon still had 5. If I wanted to be the most help for my team this round, I had to play defensively and set up my attackers for future rounds. Steve's deck Roaring Moon does a ton of damage the more cards that are in his discard, which he was able to get a ton of in this turn, but he still couldn't find the energies to attack.
I kind of messed myself up there.
While Mia was setting Gardevoir up for a big attack, I had a dumb question to ask.
If I die, do I join
No, Iona.
No. That's not how this
fine, 'cause
works.
While I was doing no damage this round, Gardevoir now was.
300, baby.
That's a lot better. All right.
Can you add my 0 to the end?
You guys, what is going
He's
on?
really pushing the rules
Phil's
here.
Terrapagos deck is able to do 220 damage pretty much every single turn. But with Steve not attacking again, we were only able to do 520.
Relax, because it's my turn.
Surely he isn't able to get 3 energies again to attack, right? Right?
Triple acceleration energy.
No!
It does
No!
have to be on an evolution Pokemon. Thankfully, he's a raid boss. So, it absolutely counts as a
What
raid
are
boss
these rules?
mechanic. We got an energy to attach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is more than 3. Well, so board wipe.
That's our second board wipe, but we were prepared this time. Thanks to the Meloetta in my deck, even though I'm only at 2 prizes left, I can dish out a huge damage while keeping all the 2 prizers in my bench still alive.
I'm doing a lot of damage this turn. And I live 2 turns.
Steve was finally able to get the energies on his board, so he was now a mega threat. Phil had another Terrapagos ready, and Mia was setting up a massive Drifloon. All together, we were about to show this raid boss who's truly the boss, because I'm doing
390.
All right. 950 total damage.
It's almost
This was our
down. It's
biggest
almost
hit
out.
yet. And the raid boss is at low HP, but nothing could have prepared us for what happens next.
Uh-oh.
A repel. All of you
No!
guys will switch your active of your choice.
I'm out. That killed me.
I had done everything I could to protect myself for 2 more turns. But my entire bench was filled with 2 prize Pokemon. So unless he plays another repel, I'm dead.
That was
Gotta
one.
say, you guys got repel.
Enhanced hammer. All right. Energy, ear-ringing bell, crushing hammer. Flip a coin. If heads, discard 1 energy from the opponent.
That's a bad point.
This is so funny.
There we go. There we go.
I'm
And
sorry,
it is.
everybody.
Yeah! Look at that. Look at
Yet
his face.
again.
He's so traumatized.
Sorry.
I'm out, soldiers.
Well, I'm now that one guy in Scarlet Violet who presses X to cheer. Phil still has 1 prize card, and while Steve hasn't been attacking at all, he still has 3. It is not over yet. All we needed to do was finish off the last bit of HP with 1 final attack together.
And that is 620. We divide that by or 40. But wait.
No, 30. It's divided by 30, I thought.
It is divided by 30.
We have now done enough damage to beat the raid boss. We just had to survive one final attack.
Flip one, and it's gonna be an energy.
Oh no.
Poison
No.
bird, final card. There's a bug catcher for more cards. All right, and it's a crushing hammer. We hit it.
Does.
So energy
Somebody
across the
check
board.
his dice. Somebody check this man's dice right now.
I will board wipe you. That means you are out of the game. Back it up. However, 9, 10, 11, and defeated. Yeah! Beat the raid boss.
You can tell they were sweating.
That was also the final side event of the day. So we went home with our 340 prize tickets that we won to rest up and prepare for even more events the next day.
Oh, so cute!
What are you doing?
Oh my god, he has butt cheeks!
Day 2.
This morning is off to a different start than yesterday. Everybody is here doing side events.
Yeah, day 2's, all the people who scrubbed out day 1, all do sides day 2. I remember one of my friends I went to a regional with, we all traveled together and they were the only one that was judging, and they were judging side events the whole weekend. The first day, they were just like, wow, that was pretty, like, easy. It was pretty nice, you know, not too many people. The second day, they came back, and they looked exhausted and tired, and I just looked over and all these side event tables were just filled, because the second day they also hold like cups and stuff. So yeah, all the players that didn't make it, they'll play in those.
Whole thing. I had to wait for 3 hours last time, and we had to wait 3 seconds.
At this point, we were hoping that our side event video still might work, so Phil took his Dragapult deck and signed up to a standard tournament, while everyone else signed up for a Pokemon Stadium minigame tournament.
I love that!
I didn't know we were playing Pokemon Pinball.
Who am I? Oh, I'm the yellow
Pokemon Pinball is the greatest game ever.
It's not a Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird.
We just played a tournament, and we took the dub. Now, little did we know taking the dub would warrant us this and all of this. Now,
that's crazy.
Maybe we are gaming the system, and maybe we're going to game it a little bit more.
That event gave us so many prize tickets, and it only took us 10 minutes. Unfortunately,
I got bad news.
What's that?
They're done doing the stadium minigames for today.
they didn't have enough people to run the stadium minigame event, so they ended up shutting it down. This was the official nail in the coffin for the original idea that we had. So we decided to use the rest of our time together to just have fun playing the raids. We didn't tell Phil this though, so that way he would still be going and getting prize tickets for us.
You know, this is what's gonna happen. Phil's gonna win his whole pod, come up with the biggest smile, and have a 100 ticket, and we're just gonna pull out 160 that we got from Stadium 2.
Is he good enough to win a whole pod?
Yes!
Okay, Purple Naders. We won our first one, lost the second match to another Dragapult mirror.
40 tickets?
I literally don't know where those bozos are, but Jack is huge and blue, so like...
I was turquoise, okay? Anyways, we were headed to our first raid after beating the 1,000 damage monster when we ran into a familiar face.
Oh no.
We're feeling it.
How are we
Not
feeling?
Jacob.
You're next.
This is going well. Mission Liberation, the one I picked, is Glaceon V-Star.
We had beaten Pokemon that could do an insane amount of damage. But what about a raid boss that stopped us from attacking altogether? Well, it was on.
Draw for turn?
But things were not starting well for us, as nobody started with a good hand. We just had to
Oh,
hope that he did
yikes.
not get the energies he needed to attack. Because
The
if he
Tool
uses his
Jammer?
V-Star move, we can't do anything. And he missed, so we're on to a round 2.
Oh, we didn't take damage?
Nope.
And this round went way better, with us dealing 760 damage. This is where things start to get real hard for us.
3,
No.
4,
He
Yeah!
has 2 out of the 3 energies he needs to attack, and only 1 card left to draw. If that card is an energy, we're screwed.
5, Bug Catcher.
Oh,
Wait, Bug Catcher? This card let Jacob draw 2 more cards. One being an energy search that gave him the energies he needed. Mythos Y! And the other switching out all of the active Pokemon we had
That's
prepared.
so funny! Oh
220
no,
to every active.
Tails!
17, 18, 19.
Ton of energy out too.
Since Glaceon was protected, everyone put forward a Pokemon that wasn't their main attacker. So that way, our attackers didn't take damage for no reason. But Glaceon got the energies it needed to attack again. and this time used Icicle Shot to keep our Pokemon stuck in the active. This super sucks for me, because I put forward a Genesect V, which survived with 10 HP, but now he's stuck there and can't attack. Thankfully, my teammates were able to carry, and we did 650 damage. This is where Jacob starts just drawing.
Just a little
heat.
more.
He drew a boss order and used that on me to get another Genesect stuck in the active, drew another to stop our Gardevoir player from attacking, then drew this insane card. We all do 120 damage less for each of our attacks, then finishing it up with
180 to the active.
and all of our Pokemon are stuck again. But we had done so much damage up to this point that all we needed to do was 400 damage to win. And even with that crazy trainer in play, we got there.
Oh!
I'm not gonna lie, it was. I think this is way harder.
That's the hardest card.
We laid them all out, and I was reading them in the morning, and I was like, there we go.
13.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That Glaceon was the hardest boss that we fought yet, and this card is the easiest boss we fight today.
Played another 8-person TCG standard format, and guess what? We got out. When you're the best and you don't hit it. Because I'm just the GOAT. I'm GOAT of all time.
You are the
Up
GOAT.
next, we're facing a card that did the same damage as the triple legendaries for one single energy. Oinkologne punishes
lovely.
players for putting a ton of Pokemon on their bench. Unfortunately, all of our decks fill the bench up completely. And that guy has 8 cards on his bench. So rather than trying to outplay his
Area
attack, we
zero.
decided to go full steam right from the beginning, doing a total damage of... None of this mattered though, because on his final card of the turn, he drew Cheryl, which heals all damage, but discards all of your energy, so it couldn't attack.
Okay.
That was spooky.
It turns out all we needed was an extra turn to warm up, because this time we were doing a lot more.
Good turn. Dude, that was a great
840.
good turn too.
And now it was time to attack. Since we had 9 Pokemon on our benches, he board wiped all of us.
That's crazy.
I didn't read that.
This wasn't gonna stop us though, doing over 1,000 damage in a single turn. Oinkologne did not like that, and proceeded to play like 20 cards to try and stop us from killing him.
Everyone discard 2 cards in their hand.
Then he still got to attack!
No.
You're killing my mutant. Did I make it?
Oinkologne is the most disgusting Pokemon.
I'm saying Raikou all together.
We only had a sliver of health left on the Oink heading into this round. If we can finish this off, we move on to our final and toughest opponent yet.
Grand total damage this round is 500.
Okay.
That should be enough.
I don't
I
Yeah!
only have enough energy to do maddening scent.
That is the scary move. You wiped me out.
Overkill.
From what I understand, I'm dead.
I have to lose 13 cards.
Oh my gosh.
9, 10, 11. Defeated the fake.
This might actually be the greatest Pokemon TCG game mode ever. Just saying.
And just like that, we were on to our final raid of the weekend. The raid boss teased to us on day 1 the Reshiram Charizard tag
Oh
team.
no.
This card is super difficult because of its move, Outrage. If we do 1,000 damage in a turn, it's swinging back for 1,030. So we either have to do a ton of damage and face the consequences, or do just enough to where we hurt him, but he can't kill us. So on round 1, we all decided to just set up and let Terapagos attack for 220. So that way, if we got outraged, our Mew and Terapagos would still be alive. You might be wondering why these cards are grayed out. That's because this is the hardest deck at this entire tournament, with printed out cards of all of the meanest trainers that exist. So if we were winning this, it would be a miracle.
It's so hard to
Reset
find
stamp.
some of these cards. That's so fun.
What does that do?
That card hurts us, Steve.
Reset
So yeah, that reset
stamp!
stamp let us shuffle our cards back into our deck and draw however many prize cards we had remaining. Which is when Steve realized he never put out his prize cards.
I messed up so bad. I literally were
God damn it,
so
Steve.
bad.
So the judge took his deck away and banned him from the tournament. Just kidding. They just took his deck and shuffled it and put out 6 new prize cards. Can
That'd be
you
funny if he
imagine
did
though?
get
I know
banned.
how to play pocket. I don't know how to play the TCG, dude.
Thankfully, no other cards were drawn to hurt us. Just a ton of energies that the Reshizard can use to attack in its future turns. And since it didn't kill us with Outrage, they used their GX move to do 200 to the whole board.
Oh, okay, I died.
After a quick Iono, we put it into 4th gear and swung with a huge 980 damage, enabling that Outrage to murder us, but discarding a ton of cards in the process.
This is where we get one.
After discarding a couple cards with Mars and Hugh, Reshizard got the energy it needed to attack.
Okay.
Rest in peace.
And this time used Outrage to deal 1,010 damage, wiping out our entire board.
So we just got outraged for 1,000 damage.
All right. This was
Love
our
that.
final raid, though. We had spent the entire weekend up to this point playing raids, thinking about the decks we could bring next time, and what we could do to do the most damage ever. And without any amount of luck, we were able to pull off our most insane turn in raid battle history, doing 1,140 damage.
So you are going to be getting flare strikes.
Yeah,
I live.
Oh, I'm dead.
I'm dead.
26,
No way.
27, 28, and that is 28.
They were literally 22
So
The boss
close.
only has 2 cards left in their deck, so we swung for a final hit and won our final and hardest raid battle yet.
Yippee! Woohoo!
We had come to this Pokemon event expecting a completely different outcome. I would say that this video failed spectacularly, but we had more fun playing these raid battles than we would have had filming that video anyways. And we still had a ton of prize tickets to show
Look
for.
at all
Enough
those
tickets for us to buy 80 packs of Stellar Crown. Original
80?
idea aside, another goal we had was to showcase how much fun you can have by just going to a regional. Pokemon regionals aren't just for competitive players. There is so much you can do as a casual fan. Pokemon is my favorite game of all time. And
I
seeing how
agree.
these events have grown so much in the last few years is so awesome. So if one comes to your hometown, make sure to check it out, because it just might be your favorite Pokemon event of all time.
I have enough for packs and Fuecoco. Can we get the Fuecoco?
No.
This Fuecoco
Yes!
is so worth it.
Yeah!
I would trade a booster box of Stellar Crown for this any day.
You know what? I agree. I some of my most like fun memories in Pokemon TCG are from regionals, and I'm really happy to like see that Purple Cliff showcase the side events, because I think most people, when they think about regionals, they think about the huge competitive side, but just showing up and doing side events, having some good casual fun, you know, is really great. You know, I might just do that the next time I'm at a regional. But what are your thoughts? Make sure you comment them down below. Do you have a particular favorite regional you've been to? My personal favorite regional I have ever been to was Portland in 2024. Yeah, 2024. I love that regional. Amazing venue. People were great. Had a wonderful time. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, I will be signing off. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.